Hi, welcome, Yossi. Thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Barbara.
It's my pleasure. So, as I always do, I'm going to read your bio so people can have a little bit of a sense of you. And then we're going to get into the conversation and see where it takes us.
Sounds great.
With over 23 years of experience, Yossi have seen how transforming your posture can transform your life. His own journey from struggling with poor posture and low confidence to standing tall and speaking with presence fuels his mission to help others feel steady in their bodies so they can move, live, and speak with greater ease and confidence. That sounds awesome. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. So, that was really a short version. Why don't you tell the viewers, the listeners, a little bit more about, what does that actually mean?
Well, let me start with a bit of a background and from personal experience and how and people can understand exactly what that mean, what it means. So I was born with a hearing problem, so hearing loss, and my parents only picked it up when I was around 3 that I wasn't speaking at all. I was just having tantrums, and they sent me for hearing tests, and then they picked it up that I had a deficiency in my hearing, and that affected me in the sense that I was late for learning language. My language, faltered a bit. And I was wearing these, they put me on these like very, back in the 80s, very big clunky hearing aids. They're not like the slim, can't see hearing aids that you see today, or you can't see today. And somehow I managed to cope in a normal school. My brother also had a hearing issue, and he was sent to a remedial school. And because he couldn't cope, but somehow my coordination, hand-eye coordination, wasn't affected, and which is what they tested. And I was, I was managing to cope with the curriculum at the school. But because of my hearing aids, the kids, can be nasty, and I was the only one in the school with hearing problems and with the hearing aids, and they picked that up fairly quickly. And I remember they were asking something, and I said something else that I thought that I heard, and they started making fun of me, and they leached onto my hearing issue and started calling me all different types of names, monstrosity from my surname, and all different horrible names that a kid that you don't understand, like what's going on, like why is everyone so mean to me? And over the years, just got like progressively worse and worse. I was isolated, and my confidence was shut down, and I had zero friends. And for even little, like, going down a kid's slide, I was scared at first to do that until I was pushed. Well, it took me a very long time to be able to get to just do something just a tiny bit out of my comfort zone. And on top of that, my posture was, because of that, I'd say my posture was, I shrank myself, and because I didn't want to be seen, I wanted to be invisible. And that caused a lot of issues with back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain on top of that, which, was again a nightmare on its own, having that feeling like 80 years old and like, in a young man's body. And over the years, I just somehow survived. I didn't want to be in this world anymore. And I often thought about, committing suicide. And the pain was very, very great to bear. And I had I had nothing in me, but I didn't realize, it was a character, building at the time. But I just I was miserable. The bottom line, people were saying, why don't you ever smile? Because I don't know how to smile. I never smiled. I couldn't smile. I don't know what smiling felt like.
Nothing to smile about.
Nothing to smile about. I don't know what happiness could look like. And until I came, across the stability ball that you see that I am bouncing on at the moment, and little by little, it improved my posture. and my back pain disappeared. And because my posture improved, my confidence started improving. I was able to open my chest, align, receive. I started embodying that confidence within me. And little by little, I was doing things that were way out of my comfort zone. Actually, I started bungee jumping, skydiving, swimming with tigers, and I didn't realize where this confidence came from at the time. I was like, oh, this is not me. Like, I'm smiling a lot more. I'm happy. I'm making friends. I'm doing things I never thought I could ever possibly do. I started speaking in public. It was like, no, not a chance. That was going to happen before. And I literally rewired my mind and body through movements and neuroscience, which I didn't know at the time, which is literally repeating and with emotion and just affirmations, like while embodying something on the board, getting mastering a new exercise. And that's created dopamine in my brain every time I master something, and that felt amazing. And I literally went from rewiring my mind and my body to becoming this confident, good posture, person that I am today. So that's pretty much what it means.
Wow. First of all, thank you for sharing that. And that's an incredible story. Let's take a quick break. I want to remind you that if you're interested in learning more about neuro-emotional coaching or kinesiology, if you would like to have a taste, find out what it could do for you or your business, your family, please look at the show notes. There's a link for a 30-minute free introductory meeting, and we can explore it. You can look at what is holding you back, what are your dreams, what is it that you always wanted to achieve. Don't be shy, sign up. Now, let's get back to the show. I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but kids can be so cruel, and I'm glad that you were able to, find your way out of it. And, today you're able to help so many people because of what you went through. So you made a good turnaround, or you allowed yourself to be elevated by your experience. So there's a couple of things I want to say. First of all, one of the things that you just reminded me of, and it's probably true for many kids, because a lot of us, we have some sort of trauma that we experience. For you, it was with the, with your hearing and and the outward appearance that was so different for the kids. I remember, and it's not about me today, but I'm just sharing that because I think other people can relate to that. I think I was 12 when I started to get massages already, because I had such backache. And, I also had such poor posture, and I kind of still have poor posture today. And that this notion of not wanting to be seen, I think, it's an important point. We don't want to be seen. Some bad things are happening to us. It's like, so I'm going to do all kinds of things so that I, try to, disappear. So here we are. I mean, you're a little younger than me. So here we are in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and what can one do if I want to say, hey, I want to improve my posture? Is it affirmation? Is it a bunch of things? It's like, how do you assist people?
Yes, that's a good question. I mean, posture is very important, and one doesn't just improve it by, reminding themselves by just affirmations, like pulling your shoulder blades back, and I have good posture. It doesn't really work. You need that emotion, and it needs to embody it in something physical, like your mind and body. Because if it's just mindset, normally, like it really, has that extra to take you. Your body needs to feel it as well. Your body needs to take it. So how it works is getting them on the ball and improving their the physical structure. That's the first thing, because like for me to slouch, it's very uncomfortable now because my core has been built up for over 23 years, very strong, so that it's very difficult for me to slouch and to have bad posture. It's actually uncomfortable. So when you have that, when you sort your physiology out and get your body structured and aligned, that is a huge way of just having better posture in the first place. Then with the affirmations come with the good dopamine, as I said, hits your brain when you're able to master, because a lot of these things are getting out of your comfort zone physically, and doing things that you never thought you could, or you never think you can do something, like whether it's simple balancing on the ball, kneeling, sitting, balancing, and you're like, wow, I actually can do that. And not only is your core muscles and proprioception awareness strengthening, but also in your brain, the dopamine you're getting, it's that affirmation in itself, like, wow, I can do this. This is amazing. I actually have good posture. I am confident. And it's like, it's just your mind follows your body where the body leads. And it's very important to enmesh the two and not just separate one from the other.
So that makes sense to me. And yet there's this gap from, I'm a sloucher. Everybody knows, my car seat's way back because I'm way more comfortable, sort of like, leaning, sitting back. And whenever I have done like attempted to improve my posture, it's like my body goes into spasm because it's not used. It's like, even though I do some core strength, it's still the propensity just to go like this is so much stronger than for me to like sit up. So where do I start? What do you tell people?
Yeah, stiffness is not good either. To have be stiff in your posture doesn't mean like you have to be aligned and stiff. It's about mobility. Your spine needs to be flexible, needs to be moving. The first thing I suggest to everyone to start is sitting on a stability ball, a good quality stability ball instead of a chair. The chair does so much damage over time. Number one, it weakens the spine because your chair is supporting your back, and your back's not working. So gravity is going to naturally take it down anyway, especially when you're in front of a computer and your head's going to go forward, which is forward head posture. You're going to shallow breathe. It can cause screen apnea. You can't breathe from the diaphragm. And then you're going to get an energy dump where in the midday, you're going to feel like, I'm so tired, I can't do anything. And they need to pick up coffee or they need to have something sweet. And that affects the circadian rhythm. And the sleep quality goes. And then the next day you feel a little bit like negative, or, your relationship's a bit moody. And then you affect relationships. And it's a vicious cycle when it comes to that, because you yourself are in pain, you're not feeling good, and you don't have a good quality sleep. So most people today are sitting in front of a desk pretty much the whole day. And the best place to start is just swapping out gradually the chair for the ball. So that adds movement. It forces you to sit up straighter and working your spinal discs and columns and lubricating those discs and your muscle small stabilizers. And that creates natural movements where you have extra added blood flow so that you don't feel that energy dump. And your posture is aligned, so it affects the prefrontal cortex. So when your posture is straight, you're not going to have your neuroscience that knows this. It's going to switch off when you slouch. And that's the decision-making part of a brain. And then we wonder why we have brain fog and make poor decisions and continuously do that. Whereas when you're sitting upright, you're aligned and that prefrontal cortex is switched back on, and which means you can think easier. Blood flow is coming more to your brain. You're breathing better. And your decision making is going to be clearer, and you'll have more clarity.
Oh, it sounds all good. So at least I'm not sitting on the ball, but at least I'm sitting on a stool without a back. So I'm already making a little progress. Okay, good. So that sounds all very reasonable. You and I met. But it was a couple weeks ago at the Jerusalem, conference that Leslie Kaplan put on, and you watched, one of my presentation, which is how we got into conversation. So for people who really want to change and they haven't been able to, for whatever reason, it's like, I have my theory of why that is. It's like, how do you see the emotions, the subconscious and the unconscious, and all of neuroscience impacting posture and and the desire or the want to improve the posture?
Yeah, some people just don't have the desire and they just want to be comfortable, and they'll deal with the consequences later on. And for them, you can never change them or change their minds. But you have to paint a picture and try and educate the people who aren't really aware. Like with what you brought to the table in your lecture, like connecting the mind to the body and how strong it is when you're telling yourself things. You've got to be aware and educate what is going to happen if you have bad posture going forward. Do you want to look like an old man bent halfway down and susceptible to falling almost every step of the way, like with any misstep, falling and have an early death? Or do you want to hold yourself better upright and being able to have better balance and better productivity and longevity? So we have to paint the picture of why posture is so important for not just physical, which we've said, but also for mental and for getting promoted or getting that date or getting whatever else you want, to have that presence about you and that impact where, wow, I want to be able to present and impact thousands of people on stage, or I want to get that promotion. But how does that start? If you have poor posture, your body speaks before you even do. So when you have to paint the vision of people who are not really aware that what it is that they can have and are missing out at the moment by not having good posture.
Okay, so I'm painting a picture. I'm making the connection and I'm creating awareness, right? And this awareness opens up something in me, and I'm like, oh, I want that. I want that date. I want that. I want to get that promotion, or I want to have more clarity. And maybe I'm a bad sleeper, and I want to sleep better. So, and then there's things that you tell me that I can do, and then it comes to human. We all know that we know what to do, and it's very difficult for us to actually do it, even though rationally it makes perfect sense. And then I think it's when we get into the deeper layers of neuroscience, and we talk about the limbic system, and we talk about the fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, and our need to please or to survive or to run away because something so deeply inside of us got triggered. And then we need to find a way to deal with it. And one of the things I was sharing with you is when I was trained as a kinesiologist in something called neuroemotional technique, we had, it may have been even me, because I'm such a sloucher. And so the guy was working with me and looking to see what are the underlying emotional triggers that has me stay in that position. And I don't remember what it was, probably something related to either fear or low self-esteem. And after, I was complete with the work that he did with me, which took about 10 or 15 minutes, and we connected it back to some incident of when I had, decided, let's just say for the sake of this conversation, that, I was unworthy and therefore I needed to slouch. After I was completed with that and we had sort of changed the brain chemistry, I naturally stood up straighter, so one of the things I think is clearly connected with it is that subconscious and unconscious pulling us back into the, hey, I don't deserve to have that date, or I don't deserve to have that, stand in front of the audience of 1,000 people and make a difference. And it's so prevalent, in us that the more information we can have about that, and the more of the connections that we can make between what we want today and how we molded ourselves, what are the survival skills, I mean, you had yours, I had mine, and today we are here and we're like, I don't need this anymore, but I still have this way of surviving, but it's like it's no longer serving me, because I'm an adult. And so the more information we can get, the more of the connection that we can make between the why is it the way it is and why do I want to keep it that way, or what makes it so difficult for me to change it, I think the easier it becomes for people to actually let go and have maybe even quicker results with the work that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you, with what you said, you touched on it, the subconscious, like the mountain, that you don't see, and the trauma and all of that is huge. What you were talking about, and talking about behavioral change, you have to sometimes dig deep, and find out what their response is, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn is. And that's what that's in terms of your field, it's so important to understand, as you say, what's going through. Why don't they want to change? Why aren't they worthy? Why aren't they, why do they feel the way they do? And, once you figure that out, and then they're like, okay, wow, you can see that, then it's much easier. But again, it could come from either side, where mind follows body, or body follows mind. So it's either way, you have to lead somewhere. So when you're sitting, just for example, it's an easy, just an easy thing. Get a good quality stability ball. Start sitting on the ball. Don't even think about anything else. Just see how you feel. And naturally, you're going to start moving. Naturally, you're going to start sitting up straighter. And then, then those subconscious thoughts and feelings can come out in that sense as well. So there's no one way to tackle it. There's a lot of different ways, and they all good and all relevant depending on, how they motivate themselves and how their behavior, how they can change their behavior.
That's good. So it's not necessarily one way, but it's according to who I am and what works for me. So, maybe I start, bouncing on the ball, and maybe I, afterwards I journal for a couple of minutes just to sort of get into the deeper notion of what is going on when I'm sitting on the, what am I sitting on the ball, or, I mean, that's sort of like what I'm thinking about of, how I would tackle it. Is there a, I actually used to have a ball like that. Is there some recommendations that you have for what kind of balls people should get?
Yeah, I recommend the Gymnic Plus. Amazon, anyone can order on Amazon. I can send the link. But that's a program. It's also hard to inflate it properly for your heart, and it's a program on how to sit on it. You can't just get a ball, sit on it. It could, it could be the right quality ball and not properly inflated, or it could be the wrong quality ball and then you're going to get more problems. So it's got to be the right quality ball, inflated correctly according to your heart, and be comfortable enough to have that give, but not too firm, but have a bit of a give. And that movement is what you're looking for. The slight bouncing, like you can see, it's getting the blood flow going, is vital for exercise and keeping the blood flow going. So it's important to have the right quality ball and the right way of inflating, and also then progression of how long to sit on it. You can't just sit on the ball all day, every day to begin with. That's your body's going to be too tired. You start off gradually. You start off a few minutes, per hour. Just keep swapping it out, and then gradually move, get longer and longer, and then you start adding different stretches and opening up your chest and doing different things on the ball that challenges your mind, your nervous system, which is so important, and just keeps you active throughout the day.
Do you take your ball with you?
I take it to many places, especially when I'm speaking. I don't have a chair in my office. I only sit on. The chairs, when I do sit on a chair, I feel very uncomfortable. My body wants to move, and it doesn't feel natural just sitting still, because body a mind is meant for movement. There is a place and time for stillness, of course, but that's conscious stillness, not stiffness. There's a big difference. You don't want to be stiff in your posture. You don't want to be stiff in your thinking. You want to be fluid. And if you decide to be still, which you can, that's your choice. And you can, with breathing and meditation, but you can do all of that, and encourages, and the ball encourages all of that at certain points in time, depending on how you feel.
Good, excellent. Okay, so I think I want to talk a little bit about what we have teamed up to do, and so that the listeners can be aware of it and know about it and sign up for it. So Yossi and I have decided to team up to do a webinar where we're actually going to talk more and deeper about the neuroscience of posture and the emotional components of it, of why why it's so difficult for you to actually change your posture, and the notions of where does this come from, and make the connections and actually change the biochemistry using the neuroemotional coaching that I do. Yossi is going to talk about, is going to give us tips. It's going to, talk about the neuroscience of posture. And so you sort of get the best of both worlds, understanding and the reasoning and the emotional connections to why and how. And then with me, you're going to have the opportunity to actually, clear out the cobwebs and look at what is holding you back, so that you can change the posture, maybe more significantly or faster, and in a lasting way, and so that it actually stays. So we're going to do this as a webinar. Anybody can come. The information about that will be in the show notes. And we're really excited about it because, I told you I have bad posture, so there's something for me to learn. And I've never really focused on it, seriously. And I'm all inspired because it's like I'm a poor sleeper. I do exactly that. I have my coffee, have my sugar so that I wake up, So there's lots of benefits for me personally. And I think for you, Yossi, you have an opportunity, if you've never done, neuroemotional coaching, to look deeper at, is there something else in terms of my experience that I grew up with that I'm still holding on to, that's holding me back? Maybe not with your posture, because you've sort of tackled that, but maybe there are other ways that you didn't even know. So the beauty about this is always like, oh, I didn't know that, I didn't know that, I didn't know that, I didn't know. Ah, wow. Okay, so this is how it's impacting me. It's really had a profound impact of holding me back, and I didn't know why. So we're going to do some live demonstrations. We're going to give you lots of tips, and neuroemotional coaching is going to be focused on posture and the neuroscience of posture. So anything you want to add to that, Yossi?
Yeah, I think it's, what's unknown and you don't know about it needs to come into the subconscious, and it needs to come into awareness. And we all have those blind spots. We all are vulnerable to that. And I think it's equally important to have both understandings as more of a fuller package, and being able to, understand why, and then also knowing what to do about it is, both are so important. And I'm looking forward to helping you with Dr. Barbara Schwark and myself, and also me personally as well, to maybe there is something that's holding me back somehow with trauma that I haven't really dealt with in a certain way. And I'm looking forward to, seeing how that can help live, and helping you guys as well, which I'm very excited about.
Awesome. Yes, it's super exciting because it's not usually something that I focus on. So with having said that, all the information will be in the show notes. We'll let you know when we're going to do it, sometime in December for sure. And something I wanted to say that I can't remember now. If there's anybody listening who's interested in having us come to do a workshop, it could also be virtually, or, we're both located in Israel, we're happy to come. And just see, because I think at work that actually has a huge component, posture and staying focused and being able to deal with the stress better. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Anything else that you want to share with us, or anything that you want to leave us with today?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I just feel that, movement is life, so if you're not moving like a river, like if you think about like a stagnant water, you're not going to go near it. It gets parasites, diseases, you won't even touch it, let alone you drink it. The body's the same thing. Like if it doesn't have that movement throughout the day, it becomes disease, all sorts of issues happen, and you want that body, that water to flow, and so that what keeps it sharp, healthy, able to refresh from it, drink from it, swim in it, bath in it, whatever the case is. And that's what you want your body to be able to do. It mustn't be stagnant like a body of water, because you're not going to go near that. And the tracks also attracts from confidence points of view. If your body's flowing, it's attractive, it's good, it's inviting. Where stagnant, people are going to like push away from you. They don't want to go near you. So that's a message, and I'm looking forward to doing this webinar, and live demonstration will even be better. Live workshop will even be great, and I'm looking forward to seeing you webinar or the live demonstration.
Awesome. Yes. So let's conquer the world and improve the posture. So thank you, Yossi, for coming today. I really appreciate your time. If you're watching, please like our channel. And that's a wrap. So see you next time. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me, and looking forward.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, and here are the takeaways from my podcast with Yossi. Number 1, swap your chair for a stability ball. Start by sitting on a high-quality stability ball for just a few minutes per hour, gradually increasing duration to naturally improve posture, increase blood flow, and reduce energy crashes. Number 2, connect your physical posture to your emotional state. Journal about what feelings or resistance arise when you work on your posture. Identifying underlying beliefs like unworthiness or fear can help you address the root causes holding you back. Number 3, add movement micro breaks throughout your day. Incorporate stretches and chest opening exercises on the ball to challenge your nervous system, boost dopamine, and prevent the stiffness that leads to pain and poor decision making. Number 4, practice embodied affirmations while moving. Combine physical exercises that push you out of your comfort zone with positive self-talk. The dopamine hit from mastering new movements rewires both your brain and body for lasting confidence. Number 5, paint a compelling vision of your posture goals. Visualize specifically how improved posture will help you get that promotion, command a stage, sleep better, or feel more attractive. Clear motivation makes behavior change stick. That's it, folks. Have a great week. Please like my YouTube channel and recommend the podcast to your friends, family, colleagues. Take care. Thank you.